for questions, and I don't want to go too late, so it's going to be kind of brief, but good questions, just let me know at the end. So since I'm the current manager, I'm going to talk about kind of the present and the future of the farm. First, I'm going to give a little bit of a background on myself. Well, I was born and raised in Roxbury. I was born and raised in Roxbury. My father is Kirby Peters. He's been a minister for 30, how many years? 37. Mom was a baker at the Bridgewater store for 17, 19, some odd years. And then that's just my sister. And then, right, so I was born and raised here. I went through the school system. I just found this random picture from prom that I took at the farm. But, right, went through the school system. Hallie was actually my TA for my senior project, which is fun. I worked at the farm in high school and into college from 2010 to 2014. And right, mainly worked in the field, a little bit in the stand on Sundays with Paula. I don't know if Paula's here, but Paula Mazeski. I went to college at Cornell University, where I studied agricultural sciences with a concentration in field crop management. After that, I moved to Austin, Texas for about 5 years, where I worked at a large-scale organic farm. I managed all their greenhouse operations, so this whole thing was me and a part-time assistant. And so we were spraying transplants for the field operations. And then I moved on for another 3 or 4 years, where I worked at a vertical hydroponics company called Lettuce Grow, working on their horticulture team, working on just improving growing operations, varieties, and other nutrient riches. Right, so I want to talk about farm to date before I talk about like farm goals and aspirations. So right from the get-go, my goal has just been to kind of maintain that framework that Kathy and Howie have kind of set forth. It was a very successful framework, and so I decided I was kind of go for that at the very beginning. And luckily, Kathy and Howie have been willing to provide almost everything in terms of data and feedback, lots of feedback, and insight, which makes things possible like this, because coming in just not knowing necessarily the numbers, it's really hard to just grow a bunch of random varieties and quantities, whereas Kathy's database, I was able just to like look at that and basically plug in what I was wanting to do and the quantities I wanted to do. But it goes so much further beyond just the greenhouse. There's so many other things that they've been helpful with. But it's only my second year. There's still a ton to learn, and there's still a lot to do and to fine tune. So it's really important to mention that the farm wouldn't be successful without many people. The first thing is our staff. It's a small team, but it's a mighty team. I think we have 3 full-time people, and the rest are just part-time people that we kind of just piece together. And everyone works really hard to make it all work, and I'm always very appreciative of everybody. Oh, and we also we're able to bring people back. I don't know if Teddy's still here, but Teddy and I worked in high school together. Oh, there she is. Teddy's back there. So we were doing Teddy back, which is awesome. We worked together for a really long time. Daryl came back for a little bit, and there's people that we were able to piece together, which really made the farm kind of feel like it already was kind of like the old days. With that being said, we need more staff. Oh, sorry, I forgot a part. The community is a big part. I mean, my parents are a big part, but there's also people like Bill Shin helps the market, Heidi Neff steps in on Sundays sometimes, Barb helps me randomly at times, which are all like incredibly helpful. But we really do need more help because I don't want to have to be constantly relying on random people just to help me like just do the daily stuff. So if anyone knows anybody who wants full-time work, that would be really helpful. And full-time is like an emphasis. We go basically from February all the way to December, so it's always nice to have some suggestions. So let me know if you know anybody. And I also wanted to mention about the changing Roxbury community. I think a lot of people in here are probably people that kind of know each other, know me. We all kind of grew up here, and well, not necessarily grew up here, but have been here for a long time. And we have a lot of people moving in that don't even necessarily know Maple Bank when it was run by Kathy and Howie. I'm kind of their first exposure to the farm. And so that's just, kind of like letting people know what the farm is about and educating them on the history, but then also kind of accommodating to a new demographic of customers is a whole other thing. So it's just another adjustment we're having to make. Some notable changes about the farm. Orchard management, not necessarily a change, but Howie is running all the orchard operations, which is great. We hope that we can hopefully take it over at some point. We are not doing any sweet corn. Don't make any noise yet. We're probably gonna do it next year. We're doing our best. I finally got a big enough tractor this year, so we're gonna try and do that next year. We are not doing any more Saturday farmers market in Bethel, but we have added on actually Friday's farmers market in Brookfield. That's June to October on Fridays from 3 to 6. We've also introduced some new crops. I mean, Kathy and Howie did a lot of crops over their time, but there were some that they narrowed down to. So new crops for us would be strawberries and ginger, which has been very exciting. As you can see, we've got some ginger and strawberries going on. I'm really excited about the strawberries. We've also added some more value-added products. So some of you might have had some of our pesto and some of our applesauce that we made from our own ingredients, which is very exciting. Those are available now, so the stand is open tomorrow. Right, so now I want to talk about some of our aspirations. The number one thing is you can't hold me to any of these, just because there's a lot that can happen, and they really are aspirations. But the number one thing really is just to continue that model. There is a lot of work that can go into fine-tuning the quality, the quantities of things, staffing. There's just a lot of things that can be fine-tuned. So that's really the number one goal for now, before I can start iterating off of it. I'm going to talk about cover crops. So I see Paul and Laura. I'm not going to do this justice, so please don't judge me. So I really want to be integrating more cover crops and just not to have spend too much time on it. It's basically just revolving around soil health. And so you can see me here with some sun hemp and some rye and vetch. A really nice benefit of the sun hemp is it provides a lot of biomass, and it also is fixating a lot of nitrogen into the soil. So instead of adding fertilizer, we can have biological means of adding nitrogen to the soil. On top of that, I'd love to be utilizing more manure and compost for field fertility. Right now we're using either a synthetic or an organic processed fertilizer, which honestly both are really not fun to use. And I have we have a lot of horses around the area, so we can get free manure dropped off anyways that we can compost. All right, this is a big one. So obviously the farm is kind of a staple in the town. A lot of the community supports us. And so for me, I really see there's an opportunity to have more community events at the farm, whether that actually be a farm event or just an event that the community is looking to have. Because I think we have a responsibility and the ability to be hosting different things for the community. But I think in terms of the farm aspect, we can also increase some pick your own operations, because I think people are really looking for that farm experience. They're looking to get on the farm, they're looking for either the education or just the exposure. And so we do already have blueberries. That's been going on for many, many years. But I would love to see us, increase some pick your own into strawberries and potentially even apples at someday. Obviously it's gonna take some time, but that would be a hope. Another thing is I did not move here by myself. I moved here with my boyfriend, which this really was my idea. And I kind of dragged him along, so.
You gave him the glory work.
Yeah. So Sage's interests are kind of evolving as we're kind of exploring the farm more. And for right now, it seems like we're going to be looking more into some more animals. It seems to really take interest in some more land management, as I do more of the vegetable and overall management of the farm. The last thing I have is just increased high tunnel production. We talked, Kathy and Howie talked a little bit about that, the foliage being wet and tomato disease. That can go for a lot of things. And so obviously we've had a really wet year. And so I'm assuming this is gonna continue. Not necessarily the wetness, well yes, the wetness, but the extremes. So we're gonna have some dry years, we're gonna have some wet years. And so I think it's really appropriate for climate adaptation to be having some more, high tunnel production. On top of that, it's really great for season extension. So we can be producing things earlier and producing things later, which would be great. Maybe we can have a stand open earlier in the year. Don't hold me to that. But so these are examples. This is not high tunnel technically a greenhouse, but it's the same concept of what we would do. And we are currently, the nice thing is we currently have funding from NRCS, so we have a high tunnel going up in hopefully in the next week. But we would love to see some more of that. So that wraps up my aspirations. And pretty much the presentation by one last note. It's very, very important. I just want to say happy birthday. So Howie is turning 70 tomorrow, and he's not going to be here, so I figured this is going to be a great time. Anyways.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Howie. Happy birthday to you.
All right, that's pretty much everything. I just want to say thank you, and please let us know if you have any questions. We're happy to really ask or answer anything.